Welcome back to another edition of Health Hack. I am Melissa Deely, continuing to talk about vitamin D. Now, I love talking about vitamin D because it is something that 80% of the North American continent is deficient in, and yet it's so easy for us to increase our vitamin D levels through food and supplementation. We're simply not getting enough hours with our bare skin exposed to direct sunlight for us to rely solely on the sun as our natural source of vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is incredibly helpful for brain health, bone health, teeth health, our immune health, and some of the conditions that it can help resolve/avoid are osteoporosis, as well as rickets. And rickets might be something that you've never heard of or you don't think anybody has these days, but that isn't the case. Rickets do still exist in today's world because of a lack of vitamin D. And when we bring vitamin D levels up to being optimal, then the rickets goes away. Obesity can help. It's actually been considered a hormone rather than a vitamin. It is so vital to our body and our health. And when our vitamin D levels are optimal, it can help reduce the amount of obesity, as well as it can help with things like multiple sclerosis, heart disease, cancer. These are, the number one health issues in our North American continent are heart disease, cancers, obesity. So right there, the fact that 80% of us are deficient, if we bring our levels up to being sufficient, it can help with these key health issues that we're struggling with. It's also very helpful for asthma and helping with respiratory illnesses. And in fact, I had my husband start using it. And in the wintertime, he would get asthma with the cold air, and he'd be out snow blowing the driveway. And then after having done that, really struggle to breathe. And I simply had him start using vitamin D. And guess what? The last 2 winters, he hasn't had any problem with snow blowing the driveway or any kind of struggle to breathe. Some other diagnoses or diseases of the body that vitamin D can or has been known to help with are helping reduce type 1 diabetes when given to infants. It shows as much as an 80% reduction in the number of infants being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, as well as seasonal affective disorder. It can help with balancing our mood and avoiding depression, etc. So there's many benefits to vitamin D. And as I've said, it's very easy to be increasing our vitamin D levels. We just need to know that we need to do that. And we might have thought that we just get all the vitamin D we need from the sun. But if we are indoors all the time, even in summer, we're just not exposing our bare naked skin for enough hours of the day, for enough days of the year, in order to keep our vitamin D levels sufficient. And I want to share a screen with you very quickly here in order to show you the benefits even through through COVID, that they've done some research now and they're finding, or they found, how beneficial vitamin D was. So here's my screen, and you can see on the left, these are people that were admitted to hospital with COVID. And the first group on the left were not given any vitamin D treatment. And the second group on the right were given vitamin D treatment. And you can see that 50% of those that just had the standard treatment in hospital ended up in ICU. Or 50% ended up in hospital, 42% in ICU, and then 8% unfortunately passed away. But when all they did was add vitamin D, it shows that 98% didn't even have to be in hospital, and only 2% were admitted to ICU. So that's huge. And so that is why I'm a big proponent of vitamin D and sharing this information with you, so that you can look after your own health and look at these small things that you can do in order to make a big difference.